Hey guys, I am so behind on my reviews of Insecure. I just thought I'd do a quick video to wrap up this past week's episode, or to give my perspective on the past week's episode and the two before it. I know this week's episode, I think, is called Hella Blows, and I'll include in the title of this video what the two episodes were titled before this one. So pretty much in a nutshell, the one where is it Lawrence? Yeah, the one where Lawrence is, met the two girls in the store, and they went back to the hotel, and he had a threesome. Yeah, and then Issa ends up being unsuccessful with a blind date via an app. He wasn't really interested in her, dissed her because of her hair. And her best friend Molly is kind of still out there, just a little bit all over the place, just trying to come to terms with work situations, personal situations, relationship or the lack thereof situations. She ends up hooking up with a longtime childhood friend who's also married, but he says that he and his wife has an open relationship. She at first was opposed to doing that, but then when she finds out that her dad cheated on her mom in the past, even though they're together now and they work through whatever that was, she is just blown away by that, because in her mind, her mom and dad were always the perfect couple. And so now, with understanding or knowing that they had this problem in their marriage, for her it's like, well, nothing matters, everything's a lie, there is no such thing as a healthy relationship. She's hurt. She leaves the family celebration of her parents' marriage, and doesn't even leave with the guy who brought her, who was the guy she met, at the club one night when her and Issa were hanging out. She leaves with a childhood friend, and they end up hooking up. So in this week's episode, they're still continuing to hook up. You can tell Molly feels a little uneasy about it, but nevertheless, it's still happening. Issa is still kind of all over the place. She's trying to hurry up and have sex with the guy she met, the white guy that she met, and he's basically telling her to, chill out, I like you, I want to date you, I don't want to necessarily bed you right now. So, he's slowing her down, and she's not really feeling that because she's on what she called her whole phase, right? So she ends up going back to the man whose name I can't think of right now. I'll insert that too, that she cheated on Lawrence with initially, because they've been kind of hooking up. She thinks that he may be, getting a little too attached, but yet when she was hanging out with her friends and one of her friends mentioned the power of oral sex, she decided that she would give him a blowjob. And so she gives him a blowjob. He ejaculates in her face. They show us this, and that is just, she's just over it. She freaks out because she can't believe he came in her face. And I'm kind of like, well, what do you think was going to come with the blowjob when you could tell he was about to come? I'm not really getting her reaction, but he ejaculated on her face, in her eye, and all of that. So I'm starting to lose interest in Insecure, and I'm really upset about that, because I followed Issa Rae, I followed and watched Awkward Black Girl. Very excited initially about Insecure, but now I'm kind of just seeing some patterns that I'm not really liking that much. So I'm really not liking the to me it's almost like the sex and all of the N words. To me, it's almost like it's gratuitous at this point. So my thing is, I'm not opposed to those things, but now it just seems very gratuitous to me. It seems like it's more of that than there is story and meat to the story. And it seems like it's getting worse as the episodes go along. And that's starting to turn me off. So I'm trying to hang in there, because, I want to support the series. I really do like Issa Rae, but they're starting to lose me. It's too many nigga this, nigga that, nigga this, nigga that, and all of the rap music with all of that. I mean, to me, it's overwhelming, and all of the sex and just the random. it's just starting to not, I'm not liking it. I'm not liking even how I feel like it's portraying us. Because it's overwhelmingly that. So maybe all of that, I'm going to try to hang in definitely and watch the rest of this season, because maybe some of that will be reconciled in the story of the characters, because I think I would even feel better if I felt like the stories were getting deeper and somehow to balance all of that other stuff. But right now I'm just kind of feeling disappointed that I'm feeling like this is not the black excellence I was looking for. And I want to point out that I'm not saying that because there's profanity. I'm not saying that because there's sex. I'm not saying that because there are people using the N-word. I'm saying it because it is overwhelming to me. It's gratuitous. And I feel like we can have substantive stories and we can have even some of that peppered in there. But now it just seems like because HBO has this show by African American creator, African American cast, that they could just, go all out with nigga, 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 and just sex, 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 no condoms. I know Issa has addressed that and has committed to doing better in the future seasons and that kind of thing, but I'm just really not liking what I'm seeing right now. But I'm still trying to be hopeful that the depth of the storylines will get a little deeper. Just from the perspective of the storyline too, it's interesting to me, especially with all the sex that is going on with Molly and Issa. This whole thing about her whole phase is, and even Lawrence, the whole thing about a whole phase, it really isn't a whole phase, it's a hurt phase. These people are not out here having sex because they're freely expressing their bodies and experimenting and taking time to just do whatever they want to do as grown people. It's really the story is really showing that these people are really acting out. They're really doing these things because they're hurt and they're trying to self-medicate with sex. So that's what's really going on here. It kind of goes with the title, Insecure. So it's just going to be interesting to see if the depth of the story can kind of layer that, where that is as obvious and as profound as what we're seeing now with all of the gratuitous sex and the N-word. And it's just I'm just disappointed. I'm disappointed because it's making me feel some kind of way, and I don't want to feel some kind of way about Insecure. I want it to be, everything that we celebrate it as being. But I also feel like sometimes in our culture, we celebrate success and we're so happy about the success that we give passes sometimes on things that perhaps we shouldn't give a pass on, if it bothers us. Because I'm by no means I'm saying that this is bothering everybody. I am no means trying to say I'm not trying to drag down the show or the actors. I'm just giving my personal feeling on it. If I continue to feel this way, I will stop watching. But I don't want to stop watching because it's so much about Insecure and the characters and the quirkiness and the black experience. It's a lot about it that I like. I just feel like as the episodes this season have gone on, I've seen less of that and more of the gratuitous sex, more of the gratuitous niggas, and the story is not as deep as it could be. So anyway, that's kind of how I'm feeling. Different kind of recap this week on the past 3 episodes, but I will be watching Sunday. I'm going to continue to watch this season until the end of it, and I'm still hopeful, so we'll see where it goes. But that's my view on Insecure at the moment. Until the next time, thank you guys always for allowing me to have my 2 cents.